Welcome to the CAPC workshop. It's November 12th, 2025, 5 p.m. Rica Springs Auditorium. Today is a workshop, not a meeting. We will not be voting on anything. We do just to have discussions, and our one and only discussion topic is budget. So with that said, we will kick it over to Ty.
All right, it's the same format as before. I've added a new column for this period adjustment. So the changes last time from the original were in blue. This time the changes are in pink. And I didn't do anything major, just did some tweaking. It's still a balanced budget. We can go through it line by line, the changes if you want. The first one is the interest income. I brought that down, and actually it might need to come down even further. The interest rates have dropped. So I need to look at that. That might need to come down some more. Media buys, we did, on the adjustments, ended up having to come up with taking away something to make it balance out. And so we ended up taking it out of media buys, which we really didn't want to do. I added some money back to the Folk Fest because we had taken it, last year was $9,000 for ads, and I'd taken it down to 5, and I bumped it back up to 7, just thinking, because that's what we spent this year. The talent for the Folk Fest also, I budgeted 25 this year, 20 was the adjustment, and then I bumped it back up to 23 based on what we spent this year. Having to play with the numbers, the holiday and the New Year's Eve budget, I took those from 30 to 25. The group sales, I'd made some adjustments in there to try to pick up some money because Jana thought we could reduce some of our expenses there. The group sales shipping, I bumped it up a little bit, but the others have gone down. The membership and the travel registration have gone down a little bit. On the next page, the travel expense and the ads have gone down a little bit, and also with the supplies. The next category, the auditorium, I took down licenses a little bit. There was one I figured out we're not going to have to pay. Payroll I bumped up a little bit, rethinking that. The front of house payroll, bumped it up just a little bit. The parking fees I bumped up just a little bit. And the general maintenance I took down to try to make up some of that cost. The next category, office and admin, promotional materials, I bumped it up a little. Payroll, this is open for debate. We added the bonus back in, the 1% bonus, so that's open for debate. Telephone and internet I bumped up, and the copier I bumped up a little bit. But with those changes, we made sure that it was a balanced budget. So if anyone has any questions or comments regarding that budget.
Looks good to me. Ty.
I'm only going to have questions on the budget, but not that part of the budget.
Okay.
Do you want to finish going through it first, or?
I'm good. I mean, I've gone over the changes that I'm proposing, so if anyone has any questions over whatever.
Quick question here, yeah. So 5056 renovation and upgrade for the auditorium, the 8,000. What are you thinking about that one?
Well, that's what we had budgeted to redo the bathroom on stage. So I don't know, how that's going to play out, but that's what we were intending to do with that money, is to redo the bathroom up there.
Is that $40,000 loan repayment, is that in here too?
It's under the auditorium category, 6090.
6090, huh?
Oh yeah, 44,000.
And are we going to be reimbursed for the years we paid utilities and maintenance where there's a letter of agreement that says we didn't have to and not one that replaced it?
I can't comment.
I'm going to
on
bring
that.
up the elephant in the room because I got a lot of calls about that. And obviously it was in the paper. It was said on the record twice that there was another agreement and there wasn't. And so for 6 years, the CAPC has been paying utilities and maintenance when there's an agreement, and it is the last one on file with the city. No one at the city spoke up and said, wait a minute, there was one, somebody signed it, we don't have it on file. But the bottom line is, the one the city says they have says they are responsible for paying. Unless there's something that supersedes that, why are we continuing to pay? And has the meeting taken place with Butch?
The meeting has not taken place with Butch. They're still digging up. There apparently was other agreements made, some signed, some weren't signed. So until we get all the information together, and Mike told me he's looking up some past meeting minutes and stuff. And so once we get all the facts and what we can produce in paper or at least on video to say this is everything. Because right now, I know there was some agreements that were made when they moved back in here by Jeff Carter at one point.
Right, but unless it's in writing, anything could have been said verbally. But unless there are signatures, and I understand that people from the past may have signed things, but they weren't countersigned, that is an issue.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of gobsmacked that more people are not more at this table more concerned about this, to be honest. This is years of paying utilities that potentially the CAPC shouldn't have been having to pay. And I'm just flabbergasted that no one at the city flagged this and said, wait a minute, there's been a change of guard. Let's make sure that the agreements that are in place, let's review this with the new person coming. Like, I'm floored. And I'm sorry, we're talking 6 figures worth of money. And I just...
Well, not just the city. You have to think back going, at some point, the CAPC started paying the bills.
Right,
So
exactly.
why didn't the CAPC?
There was no due diligence. And this is not finger pointing. This is just a matter of there is an agreement that exists that was supposed to be in effect January 1st, 2019. That is 7 years.
But I would think if the CAPC started paying the bills, there was another agreement put in place or something.
So I
We
guess
just need
why
to-
doesn't
we
the
just
city
need to
have
dig
it?
all that up and bring it forward, and then figure out where to go from there.
And my question would be, I guess it's going to be to the mayor, if it doesn't appear, what happens to those 7 years that the CAPC was paying that we shouldn't have potentially been? Will this $44,000 go away? Will we get a credit? Because I'm going to assume they don't have the money to reimburse the CAPC, nor will they want to.
Right. And that'll be part of the meeting that Mike and I will have with Butch and with Michael Akins, the financial director.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I just think that it's also important that we keep the public updated. I feel that this body has done a lot to try to remain transparent and to build bridges with our community. And I just would like to make sure that the outcome of that meeting is please reported in an appropriate manner.
You already put it on the agenda for the next meeting, so we will have everything by then to present, and we'll have some
Thank you.
answers for everything, so.
I mean, for the 2026 budget, we kind of have to go for the worst scenario. Like, right now, we can't take all those expenses out of our budget. That would be foolish to do that because we don't know how the conversation with the city will end up.
No, I'm not saying that.
I mean, I questioned the situation that we're paying for the auditorium for a long time. And I'm glad that now there's a little bit of transparency, but apparently there's still a piece missing, that's right. And if it shows up or not, we don't know. Apparently, the search has not really concluded anything so far. So let's go from worst case scenario for the city that there's no new agreement since 2019.
Right.
Then we definitely need to have either way a workshop, or Steve and Mike or whoever then will have a conversation with the mayor, and we'll have to come to an agreement for a solution for this problem. I
get that.
do not, I
Hold
would
on.
not worried about the point of the city not having the money to pay us back, if that's the case. That
Okay.
would be my least problem.
Well, I think the budget, as Ty has presented here, pretty much stops here until we get some of these things answered. So, I mean, we're not going to vote on that. We can't vote
Right,
on it today
right.
anyway. We may not be able to vote on it next meeting. We have till February, I think, to finalize it. So we have plenty of time to get the budget, but until we get some of this stuff answered, there's no way we could even.
Right, I'm not, and Rob, I'm not saying not to plan for the worst-case scenario, but what I am saying is, before we approve a budget, I just really want to make sure that all the i's are dotted and the t's are crossed, and that full due diligence has been conducted, because if that is the last agreement that exists, I would like some sort of an outcome before we approve a budget to say, here's how the city will meet, let's have a meeting of the minds, and here's how we can deal with this. I'm not saying the city will pay us back, whether or not they will, but there's $44,000 that we're paying them that perhaps we don't have to anymore. I'm saying, let's
least
have
that
some
much.
sort of solution before we agree to this. I'm not comfortable agreeing to this until we have a solution, and until that is addressed with the mayor and the finance director.
I mean, it's not
Hold
just
on,
the
hold on.
44.
Mike
It's,
had his hand up. Mike?
One of the things that any of you can do if you want to, and this is on your free and spare time, is go to the City of Eureka Springs channel and go back to the YouTube videos of the CAPC meetings, CAPC workshops, city council meetings, and city council workshops, and dig through those, particularly from December of 2022 and or August of 2022, any one of those four, and find content. Now, there's no transcript, so you can't just breeze through it and look, but if you're really interested in trying to find where a solution may lie, you may find it in those. Now, I've gone through hours of these things. I have found one snippet thus far. And what I'm hearing, I don't know where this conclusion even started, going back several months. So it needs to go back into 2022, because there was something done at either the CAPC level and or the city level, but there had to be an agreement at some point. Because all of a sudden, the CAPC didn't just decide to just voluntarily start paying the utility bills.
When did the CAPC start? So 2022 is when the CAPC started paying the utility bills?
I'm not sure exactly, but I would say that's the best place to start looking.
That's when they moved back into the building,
Into this building?
was it August, and what was the other one?
December.
of 2020.
August through
December
through August.
2022, not 21.
But August through December, or December through August?
No, you would go probably from August through December.
Okay.
Now, you may want to go back further. You may want to go back to, I don't know, the first quarter of 2022 and determine what had happened at that particular point. Now, here's the other thing that can be said. You could take a look at the membership of both organizations at that time, from city council through members of the CAPC, and you could ask those individual people what they know. Mr. McClung, Mr. Meyer, you could ask James DeVito, you could ask David Avanzino, you could ask some of the people that have been around for a while what those agreements were that sat on the commissions and the council at those times, because these are all public records
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
One of the issues is right now is we're having trouble finding these records.
In writing.
It looks like we started paying
The paper.
utilities January of '22.
So if you would like to take some time and, you want to not watch TV at night, go to YouTube and start digging through some YouTubes, and you'll find something. But that's where I've arrived. I've gone to the December 2022 not CAPC, but City Council workshop, and there's a little bit of revealing information in there, but it's in a declaration based upon all things city not just a single component. So there's a whole lot of stuff in there. It's a, hour, 15-minute listen, so there's a bunch of content in there.
So what'd you say, Ty?
Looks like we started paying electric January 22.
January 22. So for clarification, David, I was in on myself, did not get on the CAPC until January 2023.
That's right.
So he wouldn't have any knowledge about it.
Yeah, was he on council?
Nope. He was on council for a few months before, because Nick Roberts resigned, and they went ahead and appointed David like in October.
That might be right, because he was very unclear as to certain things that were going on at that time. But this was the city council, you understand, so. Okay.
And then he and I both were, no, I was put on here in January, then he was put on here by council a few months later.
Ann Armstrong was the city treasurer secretary recorder at the time.
No, she had left. It was Ida.
At that time?
Ida started when I started, and stopped when that all switched over.
But there is information in those. Now, the thing is, that's online, you can see it, but it doesn't really reveal itself as a document.
That's legally not binding, isn't it?
It's not.
I mean, if we can't find any signed paperwork, I mean, we're at the back at the wall, and I guess it's just a negotiation.
No. If there is a vote taken, a vote would be recorded.
Right.
Okay.
But
But it will be a vote on both sides
Of course.
of the CAPC and City Council, right?
Let's clarify this, though. I don't like to use the word contract, because contract implies the right to sue. And this is a city agency to city agency. It's more of a management agreement. So I don't think we couldn't sue the city if we wanted to. We're part of the city. So it's a management agreement. That's what Butch calls it too. But, it doesn't mean it's not binding. And if they voted on it, especially if the city council voted on it, it's binding. But I like to kind of get out of the use of the word contract.
Since
Sounds a little too litigious.
Since the CAPC started paying the utility bills in January 2022, then it's late 2021 likely that City Council and CAPC would have taken a vote to make up a new agreement. So wouldn't there be something in the minutes? Not just having to go through YouTube videos, wouldn't those votes be in the minutes? So
You can do
maybe we
this,
can pull
Daniel. You
some
got time.
minutes. No, I will. I'll ask and I can pull some minutes, but here's the bottom line. I am aware that something probably existed, but we cannot operate on probably. The city has said that the 2018 contract that took place agreement that went into place January 1, 2019 is the last thing they have on file known to them. Until we find something that replaces that, we should be operating under that agreement, and we are not.
I'm no detective, but I think when the CAPC moved back into this building,
That's what
I think that's
Got
when
lost.
That's what
I think
I-
that's when it all changed, and the CAPC started paying.
that's what I was assuming.
I think some agreement was made for the use of the offices. The CAPC would take up the responsibility.
And so it's curious why the city wouldn't have that agreement on file.
All right.
For two bodies, it's understandable with a move, one may have been misplaced, but for the CAPC and the city, neither body to have a record, that's very curious.
That's right. Jeff Carter was chair at the time, wasn't he?
Probably, yeah.
So would he
I think
know?
so.
Can we reach out to Jeff and ask him?
He would be a likely person, yes.
Do you have a relationship with him to talk to him?
No, I do not.
Okay. I'll do that.
We have two options, We can look back, try to resolve a problem we don't know how to resolve at this point. And the other thing is looking forward. And the best case scenario for me would be finishing the year the way it is and for 2026 have a new agreement with the city and solve the problem, even go back to the agreement from 2019, if that's the situation, and say, okay, from January 2026, for January 1st, we're going back to that agreement or a new agreement which is newly signed and updated to the current situation. And then we'll keep continuing. I said it for so many times that why is the CAPC paying for this old building alone? And just because we are a cash cow, because we're the only commission in town which has no financial problems really, the only one who sits on a lot of money. But that money is allocated for other things and not really for renovations of an old building or maintaining an old building. I do understand in our statute, we are allowed to maintain a building like this. It's not completely that we're breaking the law or mishandling money. That's not the case. We can do it, but it would be good to have an updated agreement between the two parties for the new year, so we can follow that agreement and move on.
I agree with you. Here's the issue that I have. Those bills were paid with taxpayer dollars from our visitors and our locals, and that is not our money. It is their money. And if that money was not supposed to be used to pay utilities and the city was supposed to be paying them according to something that the city has on file, to me, that's a mismanagement of funds. And Ty, you're the finance director, you're the accountant, but if there's an agreement in place that we should not have paid something with tax dollars and we paid it, I do not feel good about that.
You know, the one thing I would counter to that is like, if that money would have gone to another company out of town, I would be furious, say, hey, this is unacceptable. They need to reimburse us. But it is still within the city. I mean, either way, it comes out of the budget from the city or it's our money. But it's like, yes, it's two different money pots. But on the other side, it's still money that was in the city. And I agree with you that I'm not disputing it. You know, if it would be up to me, I would say, hey, let's make an Excel sheet and calculate everything we paid in since 2019, and take off or estimate the rent for the building we use or the office part, which can be not a lot because it's a small square foot. And deduct it from that bill and say, here, there's an amount, so-and-so, 6 figures for sure, and we want that money back. But I don't think that would fly with the city. You know, that's the big problem.
I don't know, and I don't think that's going to happen. But what I do think can happen is they can look at some of this. They can start paying the utility bills. They can start fixing broken pipes. They can start stepping up. And I think that we can re-examine this $44,000 figure.
Well, it's not just you look one line below, it's $34,000 for utilities. So it's those two amounts. I mean, we're not voting over something,
right.
But what I would say at this point is like, we do not make any further payment on that $44,000 until this is resolved, one way or the other.
I would love that if it's legal.
Well, we're also coming into...
No, I mean,
if I'm correct, a new mayoral election year, and there may be changes.
No, which part, you know, the question is which part would be legal or not legal. I mean, like, we have no contract. Where is this $44,000? Do we have a paper for that we have to pay that?
Do we have an agreement?
Or is it just an agreement, one unwritten agreement?
Touche.
See, we could argue over that, but we can... I'm not saying we're not paying it, but I would just withhold it till we have it resolved.
Prior to this agreement, at whatever point that the city had the odd, I assume at some point the city paid to pay these bills and do the upkeep for the odd. What kind of access did we as the CAPC get? Did we still get the opportunity to put on shows that we chose? Were we still able to use the space if we wanted to at our leisure? Like, what difference beyond, like, did we gain things by potentially acquiring? I realize it's kind of a money pit to some degree, and at the same time, it's a historical building where we're right here on the main beat. We get office space now, although small, still office space that's centrally located, and lots of visibility, I think, from odd shows and other things that I think sometimes you can't calculate with an exact, the dollar amount is important, obviously, but I know that it drives business to my place and to other places in town. I don't know that I would call it necessarily a loss, altogether. So I don't disagree with you always. You should know the whys. It's not even a question of disagreement. I'm just more curious, about also what are the benefits to this? What did we gain? Obviously, something happened that we had to take it on. Either the city just isn't making enough money in taxes to cover, say, sidewalks in their, and that, like, they have lots of infrastructure things as well. So I'm not saying that they shouldn't be owning a piece, but.
I wish I could answer that question. Unfortunately, after April of 2019, I wasn't here. I had resigned. The issue at hand is probably the question of why did that decision come to fruition to move here? I can't answer that question.
Sure.
And I don't know the answer to that. What I could say, though, is that we could sit here and litigate this for another hour and a half. We would gain no more right now than we would if you'll wait at least another week or so that Steve and I can meet with Butch and Michael Akins and then kind of pull this together. We should have some evidentiary information by that time, I hope, that we can pull up. I've given Robert a tour of our storage facility up there, which is a little bit of a chaos because of the move. And I guess when the move came, there was things stored here, there, up in the upper bat wings of the balcony. There's stuff all over the place. And we've not been able to track down every single piece of paper that exists. No more so do we have access to the pieces of paper that exist in City Hall. Sure. So their digging, there's our digging. So let us dig together and we'll see if we can come up with a decent solution.
I think we're all saying the same thing, so I don't hear people disagreeing about this. It's
Right.
just, let's get the information we can get and see what we can negotiate, and then go from there.
And it's
present it at the next meeting, for sure. My goal is to present at the next meeting, kind of get this settled, so we can move on with our budget. Any other questions?
I would just add to what Sheila said. Of course, we have a vital interest to keep the auditorium going.
Right.
This is an important building for the city. But the way the situation is right now, it's not satisfying for our side. And I can go back to the time when I was a commissioner the first time in 2013. We paid for that auditorium back then, and I was criticizing already back then how much money we put in there. And I think there was a time we even paid more. But it is frustrating, and I think it's good to find a new solution.
How could you pay more? We paid all.
There was repairs from upgrades and
More money was coming out. Okay.
yeah. And that back then our budget was like 1.2 million or something, not even that.
Right.
I mean, we're over 2 million now. Like we do have more money available.
Are we over 2 billion now?
What the
Slightly.
new budget? Yeah. I mean,
I'm asking Ty.
Well, collections are 2 million, other income 23,
I'm sorry?
2.3 with other income.
Okay. All right, any other questions about the budget? All right, I guess we're done for our workshop. Thank you all. Look forward to our next meeting.
That was the whole of it?
That's it. Our next meeting is scheduled for, make sure
20th.
everybody,
Thursday.
20th, a
the
week from
20th,
tomorrow.
December 20th.
Yeah.
It's a week from tomorrow.
No, November 20th. I said, what? It's a Saturday. It's November 20th, a Thursday at 5 p.m., right? Everybody agreed?
Yep.
All right, see y'all then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.